I don't know anyone who goes a day without using the internet for something, whether you're checking your social media, you're looking up a recipe, you're playing a game, or even just passing the time surfing. We're all accessing the internet constantly. But have you ever really considered how the information gets there? Have you considered the authority of the information, whether it's accurate or not, and how current the information is? Well, for this assignment, you're going to be doing just that. You're going to select a website that you can use, and you're going to evaluate it addressing several different areas. And your evaluation will be developed in the form of an audio narrated PowerPoint presentation. So the first thing you want to do is to think of a specific website that you use frequently, or something that you can use for your profession or for your job related duties. You may want to do a general web search to find different sites. If you use a lot of different sites or even none at all, this is going to help you. Identify one site that you think can be beneficial or helpful to you professionally. Next, spend some time evaluating each of the areas that are listed in the assignment guidelines. You may want to start writing these down as you go through them, so you have the development of your Microsoft Word document that's also going to need to be submitted in addition to your PowerPoint. And so there are 9 areas that I want you to review and discuss in your audio PowerPoint presentation or your review of the website. And first, you'll have your introductory slide or an introduction slide. And here you're just going to introduce this assignment. You're going to talk about a little bit briefly about the website you've selected, explain why you've selected that one, and how it's going to apply to you. Then you have the description and purpose specific to that website from an evaluation standpoint. The purpose of the information presented in the site should be clear. Some sites are meant to inform, persuade, state an opinion, entertain, or parody something or someone else. So you want to take a look at your website and figure out if the description of the website and its purpose are aligned. So you're going to answer those questions there that are listed in the assignment guidelines. And then objectivity. The objectivity of a site should be clear. Most sites will be very straightforward and specific, but some do sway you or try to bias you to think a particular way. So you want to be sure you evaluate it with that aspect as well. Currency. Is the information relevant? Is it current? How often is it updated? Some of these things are easy to find. Some of them are a little bit more challenging to figure out, and some you may not have any idea as to whether or not it's current, other than comparing it to other information, which is why you have to make that comparison to some other sites. Another area is the accuracy of the information. Is it reliable? Is the author or organization that is in charge of the website reliable? Are they known? Are they respectable? Is it a particular institution, or is it just an individual? Do they have statistics to back up some of their information? Do they cite other authors or other organizations? All of these things will help you to identify whether or not the information is accurate and specific or not. Graphics. Oftentimes images will say a lot more than words will, but sometimes on sites the images have absolutely nothing to do with the site. Sometimes the images are grainy or blurry, they're not high quality, and so when you have poor images on a site, usually what that says is the creator of the site did not spend a significant amount of time thinking about the value of images within that site, and sometimes that can tell you a lot about a website just by the images that they have. So reflect on the graphics, and you're going to evaluate that as well. Usability. Sometimes when you go to a site, you'll find out that you can get caught up in this never-ending loop of links, and so sometimes the information will take you to a completely different site. So you want to evaluate the site based on its usability. Is the navigation simple to use? Is the organization well laid out? Is information easy to find? So all of these different things will help you to determine whether or not a website is usable. Sometimes we make a determination within 5 seconds of visiting a website as to whether or not it's usable or not. So take this into consideration when you're creating your evaluation. And then comparison. As I mentioned before, you are going to need to compare the website that you've chosen to evaluate with at least 3 other websites. And this is going to help you with your evaluation and looking at some of those other areas. And so take into consideration some of the questions that are listed in the assignment guidelines when it comes to comparison. And so you want to discuss how it compares to the other sites. And then references. You want to reference the sites that you have evaluated, the ones that you're comparing your evaluation to, and you want to do so in the correct APA format. And here is it can just be a reference page on your PowerPoint slide, or PowerPoint slide, I should say. So just list the references, list all the websites you have, and I have a general example of how you reference a website correctly in APA. So you want to make sure you do that. Now, while there's a minimum of 5 slides that are required for this assignment, it's probably easier and more organized to use one slide for each of the areas that need to be discussed. And after you've written down some of the notes and have a general format for your PowerPoint, the next step is to begin to develop your PowerPoint presentation. And if you've never created an audio PowerPoint, you may want to spend some time learning this process. There are hundreds of websites and tutorials that can help guide you through the development of an audio narrated PowerPoint presentation. So spend some time, search for some of those sites because that's going to be beneficial to you. And while you're recording your audio, once you get to the recording part, you want to consider a couple of things. The design and layout of your slide. You may not want to have too much information on each slide, and you don't want to just read off everything that's on the slide. A PowerPoint or a keynote is just that. It lists few bullet points, and the discussion, the narration is really what provides the heart or the more core content of the information. And so the majority of the information that you're sharing should come from your narration review rather than the actual slides that are on the screen. Also, your audio quality. Research states that the majority of people hate to listen to their own voice, but this is something that's important to do to ensure that audio levels are correct, that the articulation is good, and everything's of good quality. So record one slide and then go back, listen to it, ensure that everything is correct, your recording levels are fine, it sounds good, because believe me, there's nothing worse than completing an entire presentation only to find that the audio didn't record or the volume was too low or there were some problems with it. Now remember that this should be submitted as a self-playing PowerPoint file. Do not save your PowerPoint as a movie or video. And depending upon the size of your file, you may need to submit it in 2 or more parts because Moodle does have a file size upload limit. Listen back to your completed evaluation before submitting it, and once it's done, you will not have the opportunity to revise it and resubmit it unless, of course, you do it before the due date, but typically there's not enough time to do that. Compare what you have with the assessment rubric. Have you addressed all the different areas thoroughly? How would you assess yourself based on that rubric? And if you have any questions or problems, and hopefully you begin to work on this before the weekend so I can assist you if you do have concerns, please feel free to contact me. That's it for now. Take care and we'll see you online.